Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Zimbabwe is a failed state. One of the consequences of being a failed state is that millions are living in abject poverty. The state cannot provide basic necessities for the people. Our education system has collapsed. Healthcare has collapsed. Our roads are in a sorry state. And unemployment has been 80% plus for the last 20 years. The country used to have a robust formal economy, but that has since collapsed. And by government's own acknowledgement, 76% of Zimbabwe's economy today is informal. Kia. Trouble with informal economy is you live from hand to mouth. And if you can't earn the food for the day, you go hungry. It's as simple as that. Zimbabwe is a failed state. And the root cause why we are a failed state is our failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections. 45 years after independence, we're still failing to hold free, fair, and credible elections. Unbelievable. What is interesting about it is everybody else seems to realize what's going on. Everybody except us. Here is a South African journalist talking about Zimbabwe's ZEC.
The SADC mission indicated that there were lots of challenges in terms of elections. And I think pointing a finger at the ZEC or the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, the issue of a voter's roll, opposition parties and stakeholders have been asking ZEC, when are you going to make it available? Because this is a basis in which you plan elections from the electoral body. And therefore, if you don't do things right at the start, you will end up with this mess. We saw the mess. You look at the quality of the ballot paper in terms of the presidential candidates. That's not of a good standard if you really claim to be an electoral body that aims to ensure that at the end, the outcome, the results, when you announce the results, no one is questioning the results. So SADC for many years avoided this kind of hard report, but finally here you have it. They have always been diplomatic. Even though there are challenges, they always tried to be diplomatic. The European Union also presented their report. It was equally scathing, if not more. And that is why I think ZANU-PF took a decision to hit back. But you see, this is about ZEC not doing things right. And therefore, ZEC has got a spokesperson. It's an independent institution. If there's an institution that must respond to this hard-hitting report, it is ZEC. And therefore, when you bring in a political party defending ZEC, then you create a problem. You play to this perception that there's collusion.
Well, if the truth be said, she's absolutely spot on. We have a problem here. It's just that in Zimbabwe, we seem to have this knack for refusing to deal with our problems. In fact, to be quite honest, ZEC is not independent. It should be, but it is not. It's not that Zimbabweans themselves do not know it. They know it. They've been told so many times. If there's one thing that has come out in all the past elections, it's that we need institutions like ZEC to be independent. This has come out again and again and again, yet nothing has been done about it. Zimbabwe had the opportunity to implement the democratic reforms, which would have given institutions like ZEC their independence during the 2008 to 2013 GNU. We failed to implement even one token reform. And now the opposition pretends that they don't know what the problem is. Here is Professor Jonathan Moyo explaining that ZEC is not independent.
Chigumba is the mother of the rigging, and Malaba is the father of the rigging, endorsed what the mother was doing. It is actually scandalous. You see, ZEC is not supposed to be controlled by any authority.
Yeah, it's supposed to be independent.
It is an independent constitutional body. In fact, independent commission. It's a Chapter 12 institution. But ZEC did not run anything important. It never did. The computers were run by Africom. The registration, accreditation, and so forth were run by a CIO company. So between the CIO and the army, they ran the processes, the operations, using their instruments. Either Matsanga, who is actually active, she's employed. She joined the, not joined, she was seconded to the electoral body in 2008 as a divisional intelligence officer. Now she is a director in the CIO. As we speak right now, she's a director, and she was congratulated and rewarded for rigging the 2018 election, and she was given a house in Borodale, a posh mansion in there. So there is a serious problem that whereas on paper ZEC is supposed to be an independent constitutional body that runs elections transparently, efficiently, and impartially. No, it doesn't. It doesn't because it does not even itself run. The elections are run for ZEC by the securocrat.
So we find ourselves in this situation where we already know that ZEC is not independent. And yet, to start with, the opposition failed to implement the necessary democratic reforms, even when they had the golden opportunity to do so. Credit where credit is due. South Africa and SADC, after the 2008 elections, refused to grant ZANU-PF legitimacy and forced the regime to go into the GNU. The primary purpose of the GNU was to implement the democratic reforms. Unfortunately, not even one token reform was implemented. Mugabe bribed Morgan Tsvangirai and his MDC friends, and they forgot about the reforms. That is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. And the situation has been made worse by the very fact that the ordinary people themselves, at the time, they failed to realize what was going on, And many of them, even to this day, have no clue that the GNU's primary purpose was to implement reforms, and that the MDC CCC leaders sold out. And they've been conning people to participate in flawed elections out of greed. We cannot carry on the way we are. This is the 21st century. Why so many of our people don't even know what constitutes free, fair, and credible elections? Beggars belief. Why? It's not rocket science. It's just failure to apply themselves. Well, let me say here and now, Zimbabwe is a failed state, and we are not going to get out of this mess without the people themselves applying themselves so that they understand what constitutes free, fair, and credible elections. And they demand that the nation holds free, fair, and credible elections. No one is going to demand that for us. That is the lesson that we have to learn. If we don't, the country will continue. Will remain a failed state and drift deeper and deeper into the abyss. That is the truth. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.